life might have been. Never underestimate the power of these moments and these reads. Now, speaking of moments, I just had a book come out. It's called The Ripple Effect. For 18 years I've been teaching sales. I think the word sales is in that book one time. That book was birthed out of a very challenging time for me. And I've been around this stuff for now going on 19 years professionally. But 3 very brief years ago, I ended up stuck, to put it mildly. And keep in mind, I'd shared the stage with people like Jim Rohn and learned personally from people like Jack Canfield and Les Brown and all these people that were heroes of mine. I worked with these people personally, so it wasn't a matter of knowledge, of knowing what to do. It was just simply something was off and I ended up stuck. I had a company that was hemorrhaging money. I was emotionally unstable, mentally dull, physically out of shape. Athletics has been important all my life, but I allowed myself to just kind of sit dormant for 5 months, which is one of the worst things I could possibly do. And in the meantime, all these bad habits were kind of creeping up on me. I was drinking excessively. My company was heavily in debt. I was behind on my rent. I had a bad attitude, and this was like a good day. It was kind of like kind of like a midlife crisis, but without the money to buy a Porsche and a 20-year-old girlfriend. This is just an unpleasant place to be. Now keep in mind, at this exact moment in time, I am the 100% owner of a company called High Achievers. I knew something had to change. I knew I could laugh about it now. At the time, it was not very funny. I knew something had to change, and I had to change it. And for me, my turnaround, if you will, it started with a prayer. Now, I'm not unfamiliar to prayer. I was raised in a Christian home. But my prayers during this challenging time used to go something like this. God, give me wisdom. Give me strength. Give me the ability to make good decisions. And these seemed on the surface like intelligent prayers. But truly they're nothing more or nothing less than saying, God, help me get better at what I want. And this is not how we're taught to pray. My turnaround came with a different prayer. I said, God, I give up. I've messed this up. What do you want me to do? Some of my best friends and mentors were telling me to get out of the business and just go get a job, so I threw that on the table. I said, look, if you want me to go to get a job, I will do it. And I actually meant it for the first time in my life. I got an immediate answer to this prayer. I didn't hear any voices. I didn't see any burning bushes, but I became present to 2 things. First is that I'd been given much. I'd been given talents and skills and tools and abilities. I'd been given choices. We think we make our own choices. This is an illusion. We are given choices. I spent 2 summers in Ecuador where the people we serve simply do not have the choices that you and I have in this country. They're born in poverty, and there is a very high chance, in other words, 999 out of 1,000 chance that they will die in poverty. They simply don't have the choices that we have. So I've been given choices, I've been given talents, I've been given family, I've been given education, I've been given skills. By contrast, I was giving very little. I wasn't completely stagnant, but I just wasn't showing up full on. I was kind of going through the motions. I'd make a few phone calls here and there. I'd go to a couple meetings. I'd get some results, but I just never threw myself in, all in. There's another poker term for you. It's when you go all in. I mean, you're just all in. So my turnaround started, in fact, my answer to prayer started with just one simple choice. And that choice was to exercise 30 minutes per day, every day for 30 days in a row. Big deal, you say? Well, I became very clear on what was missing in my life during this time. And it's the same thing that's missing in your life when you go to a seminar and you say you're going to do something and you don't do it. You go to a seminar, you get some great ideas, you throw your workbook in a corner and never see it again. You start an exercise program, it lasts about 4 days. You say, I'm going to eat less than 2,000 calories today, and that lasts about 3 days. It's the same thing that happens to all of us sooner or later. But something was different this time. And I just started paying attention. I set up a daily pain where if I didn't exercise that day, it would cost me some money. I won't even tell you how much money it was. It wasn't much. But it was still painful. On the flip side, if I did it 30 days in a row, I would have dinner, a nice dinner with an important person in my life, and this was kind of my external motivator. I call this the carrot and the stick. And it's a structure so that you can get yourself at least externally motivated to do what you say you're going to do. Now this worked for about 5 days until day 6 came around. And at this point I got a revelation in my mind. And it said something like this, I'd rather pay the money today than work out. I'd rather face the pain that I set up than the pain of working out. Are you with me on this? Have you ever done this? You know you have. So here's when something else kicked in for me. I remembered a conversation, many conversations that my father used to have when I didn't want to do something. I didn't want to do something like clean my room or eat my broccoli or chop wood. I didn't have to chop wood out here. Any wood chopping? You had to chop wood, ma'am? My goodness. Did you have to chop wood? My goodness. A female wood chopper. Not a whole lot of those. I didn't want to do something like that. I'm too tired to chop the wood. I don't feel like cleaning my room. I have other things to do. It's not a good time. My father would say these 3 words. These words were, do it anyway. And as much as I hated those 3 words, I value those words today. Because that do it anyway cuts through all the emotional clutter, all the reasonable things, the things like, oh, I'm too tired to work out today. I'm kind of sore from yesterday. I don't feel like it. It's been a long day. I've done a lot today. Of course you have, princess. Do it anyway. See, integrity has really nothing to do with feeling. Integrity means you do it because you said you would. Whether you like it or not, whether you're too tired or not, whether it's a bad time or not, whether it's inconvenient or not, whether something else came up or not, you do it because you said you would. On a deeper level, integrity is being the man, being the woman that you say you are in this world. And that was what was missing in my life. So through this all, through the do it anyway, and through just paying attention to the stuff that happened because of it, I made some more commitments. I started getting up earlier. I started eating better. I started making 30 to 50 prospecting calls every day, every business day. I started going to anywhere between 3 to 5 networking meetings every week. My business, my life, things slowly but surely started turning around. This massive ship that was headed for destruction slowly got turned around. I got stronger with my faith. I joined a church. I eliminated some people in my life that simply weren't working for me to be the man that I said I would be. I just kind of cleaned up my act and I got rid of a lot of stuff. I unlearned a lot of stuff. It was all through this do it anyway. And then I got to what I call throw your hat in the ring. And if you know this expression, it comes from the 18th century when a man that wanted to challenge a boxer would take his hat off and throw it in the ring. This was necessitated by the crowd noise, just a lot of people. So once that hat went into the ring, you know it's game on. Now those of you that have ever boxed or maybe been in a fist fight or wrestled, any sort of man-to-man combat. Anybody ever done one of this before? Now, but if you know, truly, once that hat goes in the ring, you're about to take on another man in hand-to-hand combat. Does this change the way you feel in your body? How does this change the way you feel?
You've made a decision.
You've made a decision, not just a decision, a commitment. You've changed the course of the future. Something is coming your way, and you better be ready. This is called throwing your hat in the ring. And this happened for me when I registered for my first Tough Mudder. Any of you ever heard of this run called the Tough Mudder? Yeah. The Tough Mudder is a 12-mile obstacle course. Up in the hills usually. That's not the hard part. There's 18 to 25 obstacles. You crawl under barbed wire. You jump over walls. You run through fire. You go through a tremendous amount of mud. There's a thing they call the electroshock therapy where you run through wires that are charged with 10,000 volts of electricity and they shock you. It feels like being kicked in the head as you're running through this thing. Some of you are like, sounds great, right? Sign me up. Well, I remember at the gym talking to somebody about this. I said, hey man, I registered for this thing called the Tough Mudder. He's like, yeah, I've heard of that. I'm not ready for that. And you know what I said? I said, you know what? I'm not ready for it either. That's why I registered. This is called throwing your hat in the ring. And I didn't just I paid a $150 non-refundable deposit of money I really didn't have. I put it on Facebook so all my friends knew I was doing it. I put it on my calendar. I told everybody at the gym I was doing it. And by the way, nobody invited me to do this. None of my friends were doing it. Nobody said, hey, you should do this to make a better life for yourself. I just threw my hat in the ring because I knew that putting that out there would make a difference in my now. This is called throwing your hat in the ring. If you want to learn how to play guitar, book an open mic night. See what kind of effect that has on your practicing. If you want to write a book, design the cover and look at it every day. Someone very close to me went even a step further. Went into my computer, stole my manuscript, and put it into book form. Now, can you see, as soon as I got this, it was just a manuscript, it wasn't a book. As soon as I got this and touched it and put it in my hands, I immediately saw some of the final edits before sending this off to the publisher. About 4 weeks later, this book was sent to the publisher and became this book in my hand right here. It's called Throwing Your Hat in the Ring. If you want to lose weight, buy the clothes that you will fit into once you've lost the weight. And throw away the receipt. You want to win a sales contest? Book a room with a non-refundable deposit to celebrate after the contest is over that you haven't won yet. Are you with me on this? This is called throwing your hat in the ring. So a lot has happened since then. A lot has happened in my life and the life of many other people. But truly it began with one simple choice. And that's really how all greatness begins. Is one simple choice that can change the course of your life. I ended up writing a song about the Tough Mudder, sent it to the Tough Mudder guys. It's become a little bit of a YouTube hit. And I ended up singing this song at Tough Mudder, Georgia. About 8,000 people run this run. I'm up on the main stage playing the Tough Mudder song. So would you guys like to hear the song? Yeah. This is called the unofficial Tough Mudder song, and it's really a metaphor for life. It goes a little something like this. It was a beautiful morning one Saturday as I began to make my way to do this thing they call the Tough Mudder. Well, I trained for it, and I could hardly wait, but I guess I did not anticipate this was no ordinary run, my brother. We were crawling through mud and under barbed wire, jumping over walls and running through fire, swinging like monkeys, all kinds of crazy stuff. By mile 3, I was battered and bruised. I had 5 pounds of mud and rocks in my shoes. I guess that's why they call this mudder tough. But I'm one tough mudder. I get it done. It ain't always pretty, it ain't always fun. But I'm one tough mudder. I fight till the end. Life gets muddy, I get tough, my friend. Well, around mile 7, my hip got jacked. As I slowed down, I thought about the fact there's a Marine running this thing with a prosthetic limb. So I fought the pain and ran, said a prayer for that man and all the wounded warriors just like him. 'Cause he's one tough mudder. He got it done. He fought for our country so we could have fun. He's one tough mudder. He fought till the end. Life got muddy, he got tough, my friend. We've been going 3 hours now, no looking back. Is this mile 12? I am losing track, but I will finish this tough mudder for sure. And so we walked the plank, jumped in the lake. We swam 50 yards across the bank, and there's just one more obstacle to go. Looking ahead, what do I see? The sign says electroshock therapy. We got to get through these wires and get to the end of the run. I'm telling you, man, you sure can move fast with 10,000 volts shocking your ass. We crossed that finish line. We got it done. It was one tough mudder, but we got it done. It wasn't too pretty, but man, was it fun. It was one tough mudder. We fought till the end. Life got muddy, we got tough, my friend. See, life can be tough with its twists and turns. You just keep fighting through the bruises and burns. You gotta fall forward and get back up. It's your one tough mother. You get it done. It ain't always pretty, hey, it ain't always fun. It's your one tough mother. You fight to the end. Life gets tough. Get muddy, my friend. Tough Mudder song. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's my little YouTube hit. You can get it for free on our Facebook site. And I just want to thank you all for being here.